Hi everyone. I received a vision on December the 18th, and I named it Gifts because it was about gifts. And so the Holy Spirit asked me to post this dream because I think that there just like me, there are many of you that are being discouraged in this hour due to the trials that you're going through, and you need some encouragement. And so, in this vision, I saw that there were many gifts would be given to select of God's children, and they were wrapped in ugly disguises. And I remember thinking when I looked at them, they looked gross and it irritated me the way they looked. You would not have found the gifts desirable if you had seen the way that they were wrapped. You would not have found them to be desirable. But basically what I got out of it when I came to was that he's going to reward those of his children, the ones that are being faithful, that have been going through these trials real heavy, because I know I have. He's going to reward us with gifts. Some will be spiritual gifts and some will be physical gifts. But he's going to give us rewards for our faithfulness. Whatever the gifts come, whatever form it comes in, you will know. He will make you to know. But when you come out of the trial, you start coming out of your trial, he's going to restore you. As he told me, restoration was coming. Well, he's going to restore you, and the things that the enemy robbed you of in the midst of your trial, like your peace, your joy, these are some of the spiritual gifts he's going to give back. If he's robbed you of physical things, some of the physical things he will give back to you, and when he give it back, it will be better than what the enemy actually stole and took from you in the trial. For some of you, he will give you something bigger and better. There are things that we, in the midst of a trial, we do lose some things. All things that we lose is not necessarily the enemy stealing and taking from us. Some things that we lose in the midst of the trial, it's because we didn't need it. And so the fire of the trial, God has allowed it to take away the things that we don't need. And in that case, that won't be restored because you did not need it. Now, for those of you that are going through your trials, which I'm pretty sure majority of his children right now, at least his faithful ones are, we are going through a lot of harsh trials, and the enemy has just been coming against us, attacking us in many ways and forms, but we are remaining faithful, and we are continuing to keep the faith and continuing to fight, and we're not denying his name, and we're hanging on to the promises that he gave us in the midst of the trial. Well, these individuals, God is going to reward them for their faithfulness. As he told me, he will reward me and he will bless me for my remaining faithful in the midst of the trial. He told me that. So I hope this encourages many of you out there that are going through your fiery trial, to let you see that when the trial is over, God will restore you. Because if you look at Job, when he came out of his fiery trial, what did God do? God restored Job. He will restore you. After a trial, then comes restoration. And so you will get your joy back. You will get your peace back. And some of you will get material things that the enemy stole from you in the midst of the trials. Some of you, God will restore those material things back unto you. He will just, for some, they will get a better version than what was taken. It's almost like an upgrade for some. And I just want to encourage you to continue to keep pressing through, stand on the promises, and know that He will reward you for your faithfulness. As He told me, He will restore me and He will reward me for my faithfulness. And I am coming out of my trial, and now I'm beginning to go into the process of restoration. So just know that the trial does not last forever. You fight for a season and then you rest for a season in God, and He fights for you. You don't just continue, just keep fighting headstrong. Meaning, what I mean by that is that the battle gets heated, and then there are times when the battle where it falls back because everyone begins to get weary, and you need refreshments. You need to gather your strength and everything, to replenish yourself. You need to be replenished. Well, when the battle gets heated, you fight, but then when you start getting weary, then God takes over and fights for you. And in the process, He begins to refresh you. He begins to restore your energy and strengthen Him. He begins to give you the things that you need to get yourself back replenished, so that you can go back out and fight again. So you battle for a season, and then you rest for a season. And when you're resting for that season, you're resting in Him, and He takes over and fight for you while He replenishes you. He restores you and refreshes you for that time. And not to say that you won't have any battles. It's just when you're in a season of resting, the battle is minimum. It's not as heated as when you're fighting. It's minimal. The attacks are more minimized, and they're not as severe, and then God is fighting. He steps in and fights for you, with you having to put forth minimum effort at all to do much. He takes over. So that's what I mean by that. And I've experienced that many times throughout my life. So I know that personally to be true. So anyways, I hope this will help you get going again. If you're discouraged, use this to press on, to press in, and just know that your fight is not in vain. The trial is not in vain, because there are gifts coming out of this, and they're wrapped in ugly disguises, meaning the battle itself is ugly. And so because of that, it may look as though God is not going to reward you for your faithfulness, or He's taken too long. I know to some people, it may appear as though He's taken too long, but the battle will come to an end, and He will restore you. So hang in there and don't give up. And that's all. Bye.